So after being involved in the high ticket sales industry for the better part of the last 6 years of my life, scaling to 25K a month in commissions, working full time in this industry, as well as a very long list of clients I've taken from complete scratch to 10 to 50K a month in straight commissions in the high ticket sales industry. I think 50 case studies will be posted by the end of December, as well as like 10 other cases and instances and results I haven't posted publicly. There's been one thing that I have observed that separates people who get those type of results, no results at all, or take 1, 2, 3 years to achieve somewhat similar and same results. And that one key thing is their ability, the individual's ability to find and land and acquire great opportunities in the high ticket sales industry, aka offer acquisition, as I would call it. And there's three skill sets that come under that main outcome or that skill set in general, right? Getting interviews, so actually being able to generate sales calls for your business, as I like to say. Two is actually getting jobs with these types of businesses, companies, so how you interview and you conduct yourself on interviews. And then thirdly, which is actually screening these companies as well, what questions to ask to ensure they are quality companies. If you can get the other two right, you can generate interviews, you can pass them, but if they're not the ideal companies, well, you're going to have a very tough time. And we're going to be touching on two of these skill sets today, which is getting better at interviews themselves and also landing them exclusively. So there's a quote from Warren Buffett where he says that it doesn't matter how hard you row, it matters what boat that you're in. And this training is going to be a very clear example of that. And I'm going to help you through a myriad of ways and a myriad of constraints that I see with a lot of clients that I work with and a lot of people that are struggling to break in this industry so that you can get better at these two skill sets yourself, right? So an example of this happening with some of the clients I've worked with as of recent, Josh, one of my clients who's working with me more extensively, more intimately to get from 10 to 20 to 30K a month. He's pacing 20, 30K a month around December, January time. I'll say that publicly. He did 7.3K last week in commissions. You've got Daniel, who just, again, November 15th, this is 2 weeks ago, he did 7K in a week in commissions. Both these guys, the only thing that they did was change offer and opportunity. No change in their skill set, just opportunity, and you've watched their income skyrocket. So hopefully that rides my point home. Let's go through all the different things that will allow you to get more interviews and land more jobs. So first things first, let's go through Loom videos or intro videos. Now, if you don't know what that is and you're a little bit unaware because you're not involved in the industry just yet, an intro video is a mechanism that is used by high ticket sales or info companies to filter the amount of applicants they have for a role. So if they have 100 people that apply to a role, they're not going to interview 100 of them. They might interview 10 or 15, and they're going to do that by your Loom video. So if your Loom video sucks on the front end, you don't even stand a chance to even get your application looked at or any of these type of things, because this is always the first thing that they look at. They want to look at, is this guy taking this seriously? Is he a professional? Is he a weirdo or is he not a weirdo, right? These are the main things they're looking for. And this is a case study example of one of my clients, Nick, doing this, where he landed a job over around 7 or 8 people that applied for it through internal network connection I posted inside the community. The guy does 200, 300K a month looking for a closer. He landed the role, went for 2 for 2 his first day, and he did 920 USD in commissions his first day closing. And the key thing that I'm going to point out to you guys here is not everything, but the key thing here is presentation is what made the difference. Presentation and personalization, right? You can imagine which one that I told him to send to the company. It's the one on the left, right? The first one he filmed was the one on the right. Practically didn't change a single thing that he said. It was just where he filmed, the environment that he filmed. Dressing in a generic t-shirt outside with bad audio, with bad video quality, how do you think that communicates across to the people that you're applying to work with? It makes such a big difference. You know, this left one stood out massively compared to everyone else that applied. Thus, Nick got the job. And you can see again, his environment's better, what he's wearing is better, his video quality looks better, his audio is better. A lot of things have massively improved here, and that's why he landed the role. And that's a big thing that leads to a lot of people not even making it beyond the first stage. Loom video itself, but primarily the presentation, your audio, and of course, the personalization makes a big difference as well. Don't send out generalized Loom videos to anybody and everybody. That's not going to be a very good thing to do. It's not very productive and efficient because most people will just shut off. Just don't do that. Okay. So that's touching on intro videos. Let's move over to your personal brand. So with your personal brand, most people don't really even realize this is even a thing. They don't realize that, having a good social media on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter can really result in you landing great roles, as well as increase your success rate in terms of your applications in general. What's the recruiter, the employer, the founder doing when they come across your application, your Loom video, whatever? They're going to go straight to your social media. If you have degenerate stuff there, it's going to look terrible. If you look unprofessional, it's going to look terrible. If you look like, you've got a profile picture from, high school, it's going to look terrible, right? You need to represent the best professional image you possibly can online. And if you're not doing that, you're massively shooting yourself in the foot. These people are looking at your social media and your profiles. At the very least, make sure that you have them cleaned up professionally. They look somewhat decent. And as a bonus, you can post content on top of that where you can get employers, recruiters, founders to get to know a little bit more about you before wanting to speak to you, or even people that you want to network and connect with. You're somebody, right? Not just a name or just a profile picture, right? It makes such a big difference in your success rate in terms of moving interviews. It's a really, really big thing that is underutilized and not focused on. Passing over to the next thing that I've noticed with people who struggle to get interviews or land jobs, bottom line, is their effort is severely lacking. And I'll touch on these points here one by one. So volume negates luck by Alex and Mosey, right? This is really important to take into account because I see a lot of people struggling to land interviews who just aren't trying enough, right? If you've done 20 applications, there's just simply not enough, right? Getting a job in this space industry, or really any industry for that matter, is just a numbers game, right? It's just averages. So really ask yourself, if you're trying to get your first job right now or any job in this industry, are you actually trying hard enough? Really? I referenced to, one of my clients, Josh, that I referenced earlier. To get this role, he did an obscene level of outreach and effort through the strategies, I teach inside my mentorship. And within, 4 weeks, 5 weeks of focused effort, he landed a role that allowed him to get to this result. And so I think a lot of people just really aren't willing to put in the effort that is required, or they don't realize the amount of effort that's required to land a really good job in this industry. Even if you're using ineffective strategies, it just means you're going to have to do a lot more. Okay. Also, a big thing to understand is like if you're going for like a 10K in potential opportunity role, why would you not give the same effort in through how you interview, in your application, in your Loom video, in your research? Just be intentional, bottom line. The standard is so low in the high ticket sales industry from what I've seen working with so many clients nowadays and seeing so many people that my clients have been competing with in this industry. The bar is so low, not just from a skill set point of view, but also an effort and intention point of view. Most people just really just don't get it, right? They just don't put in the effort that's required to be successful. And again, that's why a lot of these guys get results that you see on my YouTube channel. It's just they put in more effort and they do in more reps than most other people, right? The next bottleneck is, again, being bad at interviews themselves and not actually representing the best, most desirable candidate for the role on the interviews. And I've got some case studies I'll walk you through here in a minute. But some super simple basics that most people really underlook and drop the ball with. Wear professional attire, right? Why are you showing up to a 10K a month interview with, a blank top, right? Wear a polo, wear something professional, show up on time, show up early, for Christ's sake. It's not hard. These are all simple basics, but I can promise you most people don't do them, right? Common sense is not common practice. Do your own research. Actually go and look at what the founder's most interested in, their values as a company. Actually put intentional effort behind taking this company seriously, which kind of plugs into the previous point I said there before. Massive mistake a lot of people make as well is not asking questions at the end of an interview. It really indicates that you lack experience and you're nervous and you're not really as confident as the other candidates. So ask questions that insinuate that you have experience. Ask questions that, frame you in a positive light, that make you look like you're a more desirable candidate rather than the guy that just rushed off a call, right? Any experienced salesperson in this industry is going to be asking questions at the interview. So make sure that you're doing that. Make sure that your backdrop looks good. It doesn't have to be as crazy as this, but make sure that it looks professional, right? If it looks like shit, you're going to get shit results, plain and simple. And the last thing is good energy, right? One of the three things in terms of mastering interviews is reliability, likability, and capability. And one of the key core concepts that I work with one of my clients, but all my clients on, is being likable. So actually being someone who, like they would want to have a beer with, right? As common sense as that is, like just being a general likable person. Don't suck up to them. Don't overplay it, but just be a normal person, right? Have a high standard, right? Show a professional image, but just be a likable person. You'll be surprised at how many interviews you can pass and do really well at if the person just simply likes you. You need to understand on the other side of the interview is another human. So that experience is manipulable based off how that person is feeling on that day. And you can make someone like you if you do the right things. So that's all I'll say on that. Couple of results here. Chris got the job out of 100 applicants after a recruiter had a one-on-one with 3 people. So 1% chance of landing the job with, a 2K pounds base with commissions on top. Landed the role, crushed it. Got a lot of other interviews as well. Alongside that, Jack landed a role with a company that does $1 million a month, where the setter did 20K a month, not only 60 days ago, and they're ramping back up to that point. So hopefully we see Jack on the YouTube channel pretty soon. Crushed it in the interview, did really well. Salvador transitioned from tech sales, landed a role with a really, really exciting company in the tech/coding bootcamp space, 2K US in base, and he got this role within about 20 days. Usually with most clients, it takes about 3 to 5 weeks on average to land a role. So this is what we found with Salvador. So yeah, that's bad at interviews. Those are some key pointers. Not everything that I teach my clients, but again, if you do a lot of these things, it will separate you massively from a lot of the competition in the space because they really just don't even try. Okay. The last thing that I want to point out as to why, again, people might be getting more interviews than you and how to, fix that constraint or bottleneck is the competitive edge, right? And your strategy as a whole, right? It's not just that they apply to more job posts or they put more effort in you. It's that they know something you don't, which is that they have access to lower competition roles than yourself. Now, I have so many videos covering networking and the importance of it on the YouTube channel, so I won't go too deep onto it today, but here's 2 articles I want to show you. This is from Business Insider. At least 70% of jobs are not even listed publicly, ever, right? So there was a statistic as well that I couldn't find for some reason because the article has been taken down, but 90% of the most desirable companies in any industry, not in just high ticket sales, only hire from people they trust, right? So trusted networks is basically where they hire from. And a new survey reveals 85% of all jobs are filled by networking, right? So most jobs are filled by people of who you know. 70% of them aren't even listed, right? So there is a huge hidden market for opportunities to where you could be tapping into. And that's through networking, which again, there's a ton of videos that I can show you, on the YouTube channel about that. You can go have a look at those there as well. But if you're going the traditional job route, you're going to be fighting for scraps. You're going to be going up against hundreds of other applicants and you're going to be fighting insane competition. So you need to work on a strategy to network and connect with people inside the roles and opportunities that you want to work on, period, right? If you're not doing that, you're going to really, really, really struggle. And you're going to be batting against, a lot of other competition inside the industry. Just making sure that I'm spending some time on networking and I'm giving you some answers. Basically, long story short, the underlying premise of networking is it's who you know, right? Your network is dictated by how many people you know, so the quantity and the quality of people that you know. And your primary strategy is to be getting to know people who actually work at the companies you want to work for, right? This is going to make such a big difference in terms of the quality of the jobs that you land, as well as the quantity of interviews that you come across. The strategy beneath that, again, I'm not going to go too much in depth and detail on networking because that could be like a 30-minute video. There's a ton of other videos on my YouTube channel that will break that down. But the second strategy beneath that is having access to paid communities and mentorships. Right now, I know that probably sounds like I'm just shilling, the RSA and what I do and work with my clients, but there is an intention behind that, which is that I genuinely do believe you get access to a higher quality and caliber of person and exposure when you enter into these types of communities, whether it be mine or anyone else's. And again, like I said before, it's not about what you know, it's about who. And a lot of guys end up getting jobs from, our community directly all the time, as well as, end up referring guys to, jobs and opportunities, on a near monthly basis at this point. You've got AJ, who I've posted on the channel before, who's done, much higher results nowadays. Blaine, 41K USD in a singular month. Henry referred him to another opportunity as well. He did like 6K USD his first month setting. Ryan, he did 41K Australian dollars in October. And a lot of these opportunities they found from other members inside the community, or I introduced them to those opportunities myself. And so, or again, they found them through networking too. So that bottom line is that, where a lot of the constraints can come from in terms of the lack of interviews or, lack of jobs that you might be getting. So hopefully some of those tips were helpful and gave you some awareness as to where you might be struggling in regards to that area. But yeah, hopefully you find the video valuable. Hopefully it was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next YouTube video.